Yeah, I'll be home before supper. Hey, you wanna go dancing this weekend? Maybe drop the kid off at your pop's place. Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, Christ. Hey! Stop! No, no, no.
Oh, God!
I remember playing the original Mafia back in 2002 and how I fell in love with the cars, the clothes, the music. I started reading up on American history for that period and learned about the Great Depression, Prohibition and the mobsters. So when I heard they were remaking the game, I was both excited and scared, because how can you remake something that is already a masterpiece? I'm HixDK, and this is my review for Mafia the Definitive Edition. If you haven't played this game before and are worried about if I will ruin the story for you, you can rest at ease. There will only be slight spoilers, and when this review is done, you will know if this game is something for you or not. There will also be some comparisons with the original game so you can see what has changed. And with that said, let's get to work. The original game came out in 2002 and was made by Illusion Softworks and published by Gathering of Developers. Mafia Definitive Edition, however, came out in 2020 and was developed by Hangar 13 and published by 2K. The game came out on PlayStation 4, Windows and Xbox One. We're gonna be looking at the Windows version. It's 1930. The country is in bad shape. You play as Tommy Angelo, a regular cab driver who is just trying to get by. One late afternoon, while doing your break, two gangsters from the Solari family forces you at gunpoint to get them far away from a rival mob family who's trying to kill them.
You left them in the dark.
You manage to get them out of there with their lives intact, and you are even getting paid for your troubles. Now it could all have ended here if it wasn't because the other family now wants you dead, and the only way to stay alive is to join up with the Solari family. And from here on you are slowly but surely getting deeper and deeper in for a life as a gangster.
What do they call you, son?
Thomas. Thomas Angelo, sir.
It's nice to see that they haven't changed the story of Mafia, because it shouldn't be a secret that this is one of the best stories ever told in a video game. And there's a reason why Tommy Angelo to this day is still my most favorite video game character I have ever played. But even though the story is the same, they have made changes to the game and to how you play some of the missions. For example, in the original game, and hold on to your hats because I'm gonna be saying that a lot, there is a mission where you have to infiltrate a harbor to steal some crates. But when you show up, you are immediately being put into work just like everybody else. And I have always thought that this was a fun idea, but in the remake it has been changed into a stealth mission. Personally, I like the original better. But then again, there is another mission where you have to go out to collect protection money with Sam and Paul. In the original game, you were the driver and had to sit and wait in the car. But in the remake, you get to be a part of it. So, like I said, some change is bad, some change is good.
Via di qui. Lasciateci in pace.
There are more and longer cutscenes here, which allows us to get to know these characters on a deeper level. Particularly Sarah is giving much more screen time, and it just makes the story even better.
What's this then?
Tom's gonna take you.
Alright.
Hey, I just work here.
None of the original actors are reprising their roles. They have all been recast, and even though I would have liked to see them again, I gotta say that the new cast are doing a fantastic job. Perhaps even better.
Tommy, just the guy.
At some point in the story, you will meet Lucas the mechanic. He has a wall with some postcards, and when you examine them, you will see that there are clues on where you can find these one-of-the-kind of cars that you can add to your collection. And even though I had fun finding these cars, I gotta say the way Lucas worked in the original game was better. In the original, after you met Lucas, you could start doing side missions for him. There is always something he needs help with, and in return he will show you how to break in some of the more expensive cars and tell you where you could find one.
What a view! That's something I'll never afford.
And I always liked that. Sure, the family comes first, but helping out Lucas felt like I had my own thing going on the side. And who can say no to a nice car? And speaking of cars, the first one he gives you is this beautiful yellow car. Oh my god, I fell in love with it. I drove it everywhere. It was my favorite car. It's not given to you in Mafia Definitive Edition, but you can find one and change it in so it comes pretty damn close, and it is still beautiful. I love that car. I love that car so much that when I saw it in real life, I bought it right there and then. Not in real size, I mean, come on, I don't got that kind of dough. Driving is something you're gonna be doing a lot of in this game, in different cars, and it has been improved on. It feels better compared to the original, and they have even added in something new. Motorcycles. For the first time ever, we finally get to ride motorcycles in a Mafia game. They are fast and easy to handle. Once you get the hang of it, it's no problem at all. Look, I can even do a wheelie. Yeah, the police system is still there. You break the law, you have to pay a fine. I guess I learned my lesson.
Thanks for the cooperation, sir.
Haha, riding is in my blood. They will never stop me. A small but fun detail is that you still need gas to get around. You don't want to get stuck in the middle of nowhere with no gas. Luckily, there are gas stations scattered around the map. But here's another little detail that has been changed. In the original, when driving into a gas station, there would be an employee to fill your car up for you. It's a nice little immersion and very true for the time period. However, in the remake, that little detail has been removed. Come on, what's going on here? Is this the 1970s or what? The game takes place in the fictional city Lost Heaven, and even though that you can go wherever you please, there is actually really not anything to do. The map serves as a backdrop for the main story, which luckily, like I said, is good. And here's a fun fact: if you bought the game way back in the day, inside the case there will be a poster. But even more interesting, you turn it around and it was a map of Lost Heaven, which you could have in front of you when you were driving around, you know, to help navigate. It even has some of the more important location marked on it too. And I can tell you, after playing the remake, the layout has not changed much, so I barely needed to look at the map. It all just sort of came back to me. Still on the subject of getting around, in Lost Heaven there are trains and trams, but you can't use any of them. In the old game you could easily get on a tram. Hey, I'm walking here! What I'm trying to say is that in the original game you could ride both trains and trams. To be honest, it's not really a feature I used, it was just nice that you could. Why they have removed it? I don't know. You can't talk about Mafia without getting into weapons and gunplay, and here it has been improved on a lot. Shooting now feels so much better compared to the original, but it is quite clear that they have reused a lot of the shooting mechanics from Mafia 3 and put it into Mafia Definitive Edition. But that's not a problem because it works. It is true that some of the enemies can be a little spongy, so you know, aim for the head. If you play the game on classic mode and reload but still have bullets left in the magazine, you will lose it. I love this detail, makes you think twice before reloading. And of course, try not to carry a piece out in the open. There are not many different weapons you can choose from in this game. You can't even carry that much, but I appreciate that they are trying to be realistic. And as long as I can get my hands on a Colt and some Tommy guns, then I'm good. Now obviously there is hand-to-hand combat in this game, but this is where it gets weird. To dodge an attack you have to push a button on the keyboard, and to throw a punch yourself you have to push another button on the keyboard. Why this is not left and right click on the mouse like in most other games, I can't say. And when I went in settings and tried to move it up to the mouse, the game wouldn't let me, which I think is a real shame, because I never got used to it. With all this violence you are bound to get hurt sooner or later, and just like the original, you will heal by finding a first aid cabinet. Or an ambulance you can steal it from. I think that's new. The graphics here are pretty good. It's not mind-blowing in any way, but compared to the original, it is miles ahead. It definitely got me immersed in Lost Heaven. I mean, the two games are almost 20 years apart, so it would be weird if there wasn't a graphical leap. And speaking of, I had heard some people complain that there is too much going on the screen, which can be frustrating when you're trying to immerse yourself. But if you go in settings, you can remove a lot of it, even during fights. And when there's nothing going on, the screen will be crystal clear. Still on the subject of graphics, the game has a noir mode. It turns everything to black and white, and it works really well, especially in cutscenes. But when it comes to gameplay, doing night or dark areas, it can be a little hard to see what's going on. But if you have already beaten the game a couple of times, give noir mode a try. There are a bunch of licensed music used in this game. Cab Calloway, Django Reinhardt, Duke Ellington, just to name a few. And you will be hearing most of it on your 2 new radio stations when you are driving around in Lost Heaven. But there is not a single number from the original game which has made it into the remake, which is a real shame because there were a lot of good numbers in the original. I mean, even today, my ringtone on my phone is still a number from Django Reinhardt. And even if you go back and buy the original Mafia, they have removed all the licensed music in that game. So I guess what we are looking at is that they simply couldn't secure the rights to those numbers in their Mafia game anymore. Shame.
Can't drive without the radio. Better find a new fare.
On a more upbeat note, because of the 2 new radio stations, we sometimes get to hear the news, what's going on in Lost Heaven, and sometimes even the world.
Gangs such as the Vinci family are now, in many cases, highly sophisticated, well-organized international operations.
The ambient sound is doing exactly what it's supposed to, and we already covered the voice acting being spot on. There is actually only one place in the game where I think something went wrong with the sound, and that is this part right here.
You got the job, I think.
Thanks, Luigi. Sarah's cooking. She's bringing something over.
In this rain? She's a good girl.
In the original game, you could not change your clothes, but in the remake, there is a closet in Salieri's bar where you can change your clothes. However, only on a second playthrough and not in all missions. The reason for this is, during the game, you can find some pretty hilarious outfits and quite immersion breaking.
God damn it!
This time around there are also collectibles. You can find comic books scattered around the city, and a lot of them. There are also these stuffed fox, where you have to keep an eye out for drawings on the wall, and when you're close enough, you can even sometimes hear them. But the best of them all are these cigarette cards. It is characters from the game and even some of the other Mafia games, and when you flip them, there is a brief backstory, and I gotta say, some of these backstories really surprised me. Free Ride is a mode outside the single player story where you can run around the city and do pretty much whatever you please. You will start at Salieri's bar, where there will be all these notes scattered around, left by a mysterious person. There will be a description on where in the city you need to go, and there you will get the rest of the information on what mission you need to complete. When that is done, you will be rewarded with gold weapons or cars or even outfits. You can also change the weather by walking up to one of the pictures in Salieri's bar, and Free Ride is a good mode to start collecting all these collectibles in the game if that's what you want. You can even get in your cab and start driving around the city, pick people up and drop them off where they ask you to, and that is all there is to it. It is actually quite relaxing.
Thank you kindly.
Anytime. Have a good day.
But if that's too boring for you, you can also head over to the racetrack. On the side of the building, you activate it, and then you choose how many rounds you want to go. Once in the race, you can pick up machine guns, dynamite, oil, and boosters, sort of like in Mario Kart. It's all quite silly, but a lot of fun. Now I know what you're thinking. Hicks, why haven't you covered the infamous race in this game? And we're gonna do that right now. If you haven't played it, you might have heard of that in this game in the single player there is a race sequence which is so difficult that it had made some people stop playing the game. And And I remembered the first time I played the original back in the day that I refused to shut down my computer before I have beaten that track. And when it finally happened, my hands were hurting. Now some people will say that the race mission is just as hard today as it was back then, but that is not true. Back in the original you had to go 5 laps, now it's only 3. And the car handling back then was not very good. The slightest mistake and you would lose control of your vehicle, but in this game it is much better. Plus in the original the other race drivers would drive to near perfection, but in this game they will make mistakes of their own. Not that I have anything against that. So to get the true Mafia experience, you should play it on classic difficulties. It's not as hard as it was back in the original, but it's the closest you will get. Now I'm not saying you're not gonna die and fail a lot, because you will, but the game only took me around 10 hours to beat on that mode, so don't cheat yourself and play it on classic mode. Just like all of us OGs from back in the day. And I mean, you do want to be a part of the family, don't you?
We ain't nothing alike. You got that, Ralph? Sure, Polly. Yeah.
See me? Oh! You see me? You see me?
Now let's talk about bugs and glitches. I did run into a couple, but I'm just gonna be showing you some of them. The worst one for me was on my second playthrough when I started to choose my own outfits. Some mission in cutscenes you will all of a sudden change your appearance to what the game intended for you. And for me, I'm all about immersion, so this was quite frustrating.
There. Now you're ready for the pictures.
Thanks.
Heart attack, I guess. Then there's this one. I'm coming home from a hard day's of work, and what do I find, huh? A guy I don't know in my apartment. Who's this guy? Sarah, who's this guy? You know this guy? Hey, don't you pretend you're part of the wall. I see you as clear as day. Why don't you turn around so I can teach you a lesson, huh? Now the bugs are far and in between, so I don't think it's anything that's going to ruin your game. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the final verdict for this game. For Mafia the Definitive Edition, I will grant 9 out of 10. I am so happy how this one turned out, and I think it's impressive that the developers managed to bring this game forward to a new audience, but still respecting the very core which was the original Mafia. I will always have a special place in my heart for the old family, but I open my arms and embrace the new one as well. I'm HixDK, and remember, never break the omerta.